lying. Ain't no use to pleasing you, see, because I'm through. I'm through with you.
And media is art. It's paintings, it's pictures, it's anything that's visual, it's anything that emits light to the rods and cones of your eye. Media.
We are advocating strongly to bring art into downtown because art works.
It's amazing what art can do. It's inspirational. It gives a warmth to a vacant building and causes lots of attention.
My main goal is for art to be accessible, to make us feel like we belong, and to promote understanding of the different cultures and our different people. To make you feel like it promotes an education in a way, and it makes you not so fearful of the unknown.
It makes the downtown area a fun and comfortable place to come and see.
Art always gets people out.
So a small group of people that organize can make a significant difference.
Personally, I feel that in Salem, Oregon, it's really important to get a group of people together who are creative, like-minded, and who have a similar goal in mind. That's how you get change going. It's how you create a transformation.
Our job is to support each other artistically.
So the Salem Photo League is a collective of documentary photographers that was formed about 1.5 years ago, and we support each other's individual work, and we also do collective works together that impact social change in our community. And some examples are some exhibits we did related to diversity issues in our community, a Focus on Salem exhibit that had to do with calling attention to abandoned buildings downtown.
We're sitting in what appears to be a very colorful Walt Disney gallery featuring some of the animated artwork inspired by Pixar Animation Studios. What it actually is an empty storefront. And I have a colleague named Rebecca Maitland who believes that where there is emptiness, there shall be art. And it has done wonders for renting up vacant spaces.
Rebecca Maitland and I got together and we were talking about how to bring the arts down to downtown Salem, first and foremost, and also to bring attention to the businesses that have closed in the downtown area. And so I approached Phil from the Salem Photo League, and we all got together and talked about hanging our artwork in the abandoned buildings. And again, with Rebecca's help, she called the owners who at one time were renting there and got our permission to hang photographs on the outside during First Wednesday events. And so each one of us would take an abandoned storefront and hang our photographs on there for First Wednesday for people to come by and look at our work, but also to draw attention to how many businesses were going out in the downtown area.
The city, the businesses, the customers even, they can't buy what art does for our storefronts. Salem is the capital for the state of Oregon, but really it's a small city just like many others in Oregon.
Art needs to be encouraged too, because you know, even though it's the capital, like a lot of the artists or a lot of people would probably think about displaying art in the other cities, maybe like a larger city.
Just really focusing on what's local makes a lot of sense.
Like the whole thing just boils down to like encouraging people to be creative.
To not just be thinking about, as an artist, what's the biggest gallery I can show in, what's the biggest city I can get my work known in, but to just kind of take a deep breath and say, well, how can we use our talent and our passion as artists to just make a difference among the people that we live with.
As one of the cities in Oregon, we've seen locations where this has worked, and we're doing the same thing, and we would encourage other cities to do that as well. It's vital for our tourism, but really it's vital for the citizens who live here. It gives us a sense of culture, a sense of belonging.
Like, you know, it's like a place, it's like bustling, it's where people come down and just enjoy culture. And that's what if you're a business owner, I don't know if that's like what they're interested in, but I don't understand why they wouldn't be. They're like, you know, contributing to, you know, like exposing people to culture, and that culture is going to be, you know, like, yeah, visual art, like acoustic art, any kind of art, just like people creating. And then what you're doing at the bottom, you know, like down, like the whole thing just boils down to like encouraging people to be creative.
In late September of 2012, the Reed Opera House sponsored an art walk that was amazing. It brought so much foot traffic down to the downtown area, all throughout.
I was downtown having a drink at the Brick with a friend when the art walk was happening last summer, and I hadn't even moved my business downtown yet. Was actually looking at locations, but I noticed that there was a lot more people walking around downtown. There was more hype, there was more excitement, and people were enjoying walking around looking at the pieces of art and talking to the artists, not just walking around doing busy work. It kind of brought a little more life to the streets in Salem. And what my stylists do with nails and waxing and clothing is also a form of art. So essentially, we're artists ourselves. I've always supported the arts and theater, musicians. I've met a ton of them downtown since I've moved here.
In many cities, we found that by pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, by supporting our own local artists and bringing that wonderful art into our downtown area, that we are rejuvenating, renewing, restoring, and turning the downtown into a real experience by putting art in the storefronts.
And then in terms of impact, all those vacant buildings that we showed on are now rented. There's Subway, there's a bar in one, there's a yogurt place coming in.
We were mostly on the Liberty.
Yeah, it was up and down by the Reed Opera House on Liberty, but also crossing over Court Street, there was a series of buildings as well that we showed on. Now, we don't want to take full credit for it.
We're taking full credit for it.
Well, Diane's taking full credit. I'm much more humble than Diane. But I think we played a role.
We have been doing this at the Reed for the 10 years that I've owned the building. I started out with this in the same space, but it was vacant in 2003. clothing store had moved out. Encouraged a lot of people to do the same thing along Liberty Street, State Street in downtown Salem, and it has absolutely worked wonders. There is no longer a vacancy on Liberty Street except one that just occurred in the Reed Opera House since this effort was begun some years ago.
No matter what the media, it's all art. Let's put art in the storefronts.
Make your town better. Stop procrastinating.
By putting art in empty storefronts.
Put art in empty storefronts. Put art in empty storefronts. Bye.
No time to have fun. You know how I've got another daddy now, sweet Papa. Oh, Papa, I'm in love. I ain't got